can't remember if you said this at the very beginning of this when we were talking about your career there at the CIA, but when you would do these deployments, so to speak, how many guys on average would you personally be on that job with, or did it totally vary?
It varied all the time. You could be, I mean, I don't want to get into specific numbers, but it could be, I mean, it could be a lot, you know, especially if you're at somewhere like a capital, then there's going to be a lot, and there's going to be analysts, there's going to be case officers, there's going to be operators, there's going to be targeters, there's all these people, you know, all of the leadership is going to be there. When you get out to some of these remote places, there may be times where you're out there alone.
And what's as far as like the cadence goes, obviously there's a huge difference in that you're spying versus knocking in doors now, but was there a big adjustment to how communication in the field went doing this, or was it very similar once you're out there? Minus, you know, being all kitted up and everything, I would imagine it wasn't really like that in the CIA. But like when you're out, let's say you're out in a city and you're doing reconnaissance on certain people, was the I'm trying to think how to ask this right so that people understand what the fuck I'm saying. But like, was your communication with base / with the other people involved in your mission, maybe dispersed throughout the crowd or with you or whatever, was it a similar cadence to when you were working in the SEALs, or was it just a totally new adjustment you had to make?
Sometimes it was. I mean, there's some times where you are, it looks like a special operations unit where you have your kit on, you've got helmets, night vision, guns. I mean, you're talking to Apaches. There's been times where I was working for the agency and I couldn't get through a road, and so I'd call into Apaches and I'd say, "Hey, clear this fucking road out," you know, and they would spin
Make it
up.
rain.
Yeah, no, I don't mean like that. But what they would do is they would just fly low, show their belly, fly in an aggressive pattern, and you want to watch. These people know what's up, you know. So they see an Apache come down and just show their belly and raise up like that. Guess what?
That'll do it.
That'll clear the seas. You know what I mean? It's like watching. Nobody wants to get out of your way until the Apaches are on top, and then they're like, "Okay, I'll get out of the way," and then there's nobody on the road, you know. And that would be an overt operation, you know. And then there's times where you look like where you're wearing a sports jacket or a suit in the middle of a Arab country that's dirt poor, and you stick out like a sore thumb, but that may be your cover. You know, your cover may be, hey, this is how we want you to look. This is why. This is your story if anybody rolls you up. And then there's times where you look exactly like everybody else that's out there.
How much like spy training did you get when you went in there?
I mean, quite a
lot.
bit. A lot of on-the-job training.
On the job.
Yeah.
So that's what I was asking. Though.
So when they go after a guy like me, they're not looking to really train you. They're looking to see how much training you've had, how much you've retained, and how competent of an operator you are, if that makes sense. They're not looking to. This isn't like the Stanford recruiting fair where CIOs set up a little shop and like, hey, come work. Here's a pamphlet. Shoot your resume in. They already know, hey, these are the qualifications we're looking for. Now we want to bring these guys in, and then we want to take the best of who tries out for this. So it's like when I went through, it was about a month-long tryout that you go through. And they just put you through all these different skills tests, and it starts super basic with, hey, let's make sure this guy can run a mile or run a mile and a half or whatever it was, do a bunch of pull-ups. I mean, just a basic physical test, and then you get into the kill house, maybe. And the kill house is going through, remember I told you it was protection, right? This isn't, when I talk about protection, this isn't like protection like, hey, I'm going to wear a fucking earpiece. This isn't Secret Service protection, right? This is undercover there's only maybe one of us, maybe two, you know what I mean, that are going to have to go in and extract somebody who's been compromised by their own asset, you know, who they're trying to extract information out of. So they'll put, you know, they'll basically simulate it. They might throw you in a hotel and they'll be like, all right, you know, your case officer was meeting an asset, meeting went bad, and the entire hotel's up in arms, da 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 da. You got to find him and get him, and you're my partner. They want to see how you solve that problem, how you get to him. Are you going to shoot the asset? Are you going to shoot your guy? How are you going to get to him? Who are you going to call? What's your strategy? How fast is it? How fast can you get to him? How effective were all these things? You know what I mean? And so they'll run you through all those kind of scenarios, and then there'll be a driving course, a driving scenario, and so they're not training you. They're giving you scenarios that you should already be able to handle. Does that make sense?
Totally.
And so that's why they call it vetting, you know. And so they take everything that they want out of somebody like me. They make you perform all these crazy skills. They want to see how you think. They want to see how you perform. They want to see how you handle stress. They want to see how you work with other people. They want to see that you can be open-minded enough to have a SEAL and a Green Beret working together, or a Green Beret and a MARSOC, Marine Raider, you know, because everybody, yeah, we all do basically the same kind of shit, but everything's very different.
Right.
When you get into these these professions, it's a lot of A personalities, and a lot of guys can't let their ego go and realize, hey, you know, maybe there's more than one way to skin this cat, and adjust on the fly accordingly. And so these guys that are stuck in their ways and their inability to adapt to somebody in a similar skill set, they go, gone, get out, you know. And so, and then that goes all the way into, you know, tradecraft. How do you follow somebody? How do you tail somebody? How do you know if you're being followed? Did you catch the guy that was surveilling you on that training op? All these kind of things.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. Please hit that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.